planned food and refreshments. Please help yourselves to them as we go. We haven't found any signs saying we can't have food in here, so I think it's all right. If anyone comes and shouts at us, I guess we'll figure out.
I'm the person who would shout, and you're fine.
And you're not going to shout, you're fine. Excellent, brilliant. Please find on your tables just a little handout for the event. It's got the outline of what we're doing this afternoon on the front. It's got the breakout groups on the back. And then it's got 3 pieces of A4 that talk about opportunities to work on campus around energy, landscape, and what we've slightly nebulously titled engagement. And you'll notice that they correspond to the groups you're in. So we've done some fairly blunt matchmaking, getting people into groups. You can see we're kicking off with 4 presentations, brief presentations. First one delivered by Mia Ross, which is explaining what this University Living Labs project is all about and where it's come from. Now, some of you are very familiar with this, but for some of you it's probably quite new. So we'll go through some of the basic things of what we've tried to do, what we found out, and at the end of the afternoon what we're hoping to do next. This, by the way, is one of the main outputs of the project so far. So, the team, just in case you don't know, my name is James Evans, this is Andrew Carbona from Architecture, I'm from Geography. Our 2 researchers, Ross Jones, Tom Langridge on the video back there, and Lucy Millard from Estates, who's sat right here. So if you need anything at any point, please just grab one of us. So I guess it came out of, this whole project came out of a workshop last, I think it was November, late November or December, hosted by Estates, where they were very much making the point that there was an opportunity to work more closely with the academic community. And there's a whole load of proposed developments going on campus, which Diana will speak a bit more about in a minute. We also have a massive campus, so there's all sorts of opportunities to work on the campus environment. It's kind of like a microcosm of a city, if you like, and lots of us do research on sustainability, low carbon cities. Then you've got the quality and quantity of expertise at the university in sustainability and low carbon. You've also got a huge capacity of students who study sustainability related things. You've then got this shift towards impact agenda in the academic community, and students' desire for kind of applied work that will help them get employment. And we've also got some great collaborative projects between academics working with PSS, working on campus already to learn from. So there was a real feeling that there was the potential to bring, to get academics working with PSS, especially Estates, on the campus for mutual benefit. The question was how. So it's kind of a classic, this project's been a classic attempt to identify how we can make this happen. So you can see the goals here, and I'll run through the results of these very quickly, or Ross will actually run through the results of the mapping exercise. We wanted to find out what was actually happening in terms of teaching and research, because there was a feeling there was a lot going on, but as is often the case in an institution this size, no one knew really the scale of it or how it was distributed across different faculties. And then on the other side of the fence, there's an awful lot of planned activity and ongoing activity in Estates, both around maintenance, refurb, but also around new build. And we really wanted to try and establish some ways in which researchers, academics could work with Estates, some kind of forum for that, and think about how we could institute something going forward. The Living Lab bit, why choose Living Labs? Well, Andy and me had been researching these things called Living Labs pretty much because we were frustrated with projects popping up all around the world calling themselves this silly name, Living Labs. I wanted to know whether there was any legs to it, or whether it was just rhetoric. And then when we came to this project, we thought, maybe we could use that as well. So from studying a lot of these kinds of initiatives, the ones that seem to do something interesting are the ones which do this kind of thing. So they have some kind of institutionally bound environment, that may be spatially bound as well, in which it's possible to make some kind of material intervention, to make changes to how you do things or the physical landscape, and then monitor it, analyze it, and somehow learn from it. So that's really the most meaningful understanding of this idea of living loud, and the one we adhere to. So, I'll pass over to Ross at this point. We'll just talk you through a couple of the preliminary results.
James, thanks very much. Nice to see you all today. I'm just going to tell you a little bit about some of the stuff we've been collecting for our database. That's one of the key outputs from our project. Up to now we have about 335 sustainability contacts, 81 from PSS, 254 academics in total. We've got information for 96 current and recently completed research projects. And our 335 contacts are linked to a huge number of research group centres and institutions, I'm sure you can imagine. And actually it's quite nice to see so many faces of people I haven't actually met before, but I sort of know who you are, so that's been a bit strange, but it's nice. We've also done interviews with 26 members of staff up to now, 11 from PSS and 15 academics. And the main thing is we've been collecting keywords for all of our contacts. So the hope is that with our database, people will be able to go onto the University Living Lab website, download the Excel spreadsheets and do a search, to see who is doing what in relation to sustainability. And actually, when you take out sustainability and sustainable from our database, these are the sort of keywords that come up. So we've got people, from all across faculties doing lots of different things. And actually, one thing I suppose that is really important with our project was raised by Maynard Case, who can't be here today, but he said that somewhere in this university there's always somebody that knows something about anything that you want to know, and that's kind of the real core of what we're trying to do. Hopefully, if you want to know about someone, you can go onto our database and find out what they're up to. And just a few more figures for you, just to look at the distribution of our contacts. As you'd expect, there's a larger number in the two big faculties, EPS and Humanities, and quite a lot as well from PSS. We've got all the sustainability enthusiasts on there, and of course they're from PSS and academia. And we also collected information on all modules that have some sort of sustainability element. We've got 112 courses up to now, and I'm sure there are more than that even, but we also did a freedom of information request, and we've got around 7,000 students who are involved in those in the university in the last academic year. And again, there's a big number in EPS. And quite, there's about 5% of those students are in interdisciplinary courses as well. And then if we look again by school, you can see that, life sciences, for example, punches a bit more of its weight here. And again, there's quite a large number of people involved in interdisciplinary sustainability courses. So yeah, they're the sort of the key findings from the database up to now. So I'll back on to James, who's going to tell you about some of the findings from interviews.
Thanks, Ross. Okay, so many of you agreed to be interviewed. Thank you very much for that. The key messages that came out that we could distill were unanimous support from everyone we spoke to for this idea of making closer links between campus and research and teaching activities. The idea of mutual understanding is critical on both sides of the fence as to what estates might like, might need, how they work, and equally what academics might like, might need, and what work. And essentially what came out was an emphasis on the need for upstream academic engagement at the start of the process of collaboration. So we started to think about a three-stage kind of relationship, where at the early stages that might just be giving advice on, say, landscape maintenance or something to do with a building, a new build project. But it's from those kind of early, fairly informal advice, critical friend roles that maybe academics can then shape what happens on the campus which will then allow them further down the line to feed into research proposals that might use a building or part of the campus, and of course feed into some kind of like teaching whereby students might work on projects relating to some aspect of the campus. Because essentially getting, as we all know, getting research projects and getting courses off the ground takes a little bit of time. So it's really this idea of trying to establish, getting people talking to each other upstream. And that in some ways is the purpose of today. So hopefully around your table there's some faces from PSS, some academics, a good mix across faculties, some people you haven't spoken to before, and we're hoping you can really discuss some quite concrete ideas about how you could maybe work together in a collaborative way. The final thing that came out really was that meetings like this are great, but there's a need to institutionalize the process of collaboration in some way. So something we've been working on at the moment, and this is far from complete, this is just a kind of rough thing, is some way in which to embed this living labs kind of approach in a governance structure. And essentially it's about gathering the upstream opportunities from the states on the one side, and academic community in terms of research program funding on the other side, somehow sieving them, and this is the black box bit that we haven't brought out yet, and then making sure they get to the right people who can act on them. Any comment would be extremely welcome. So apart from that, thank you to everyone from PSS who spoke to us. Thank you to all the academics who gave up their time to be interviewed. Thank you to the University of Manchester Research Institute who gave us the money to do this in the first place. And the final thing I'd draw your attention to is the website at the moment. There's a fancy website on the way. In the meantime, we have quite an effective WordPress website where you can, if you like, simply download Ross's databases for whatever purpose you might want to use them for. Also, all the materials from today, plus lots of other materials we've been developing will be on that website. There's a couple of publications we're working on around this too, so please, if there's anything you want, it's probably on the website. We also have a Twitter feed. I don't really know how that works. You could probably tweet. Is that right, Tom? Yeah.